Thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education in both the stock market and cryptocurrency worlds. See the links in the description of this video for more information on our two courses, Entries and Exits on the Fundamentals of Technical Analysis, as well as our new course on Trading Cryptocurrency Strategy. Purchase both and receive a 20% off bundle discount. Thanks for checking us out. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Hello everyone, checking in on the big three here tonight, and we've really been driven recently by Metropolis and ETH, which is going off now, and the correlations are so strong in these big three. We're always talking about Bitcoin as the leader because these correlations where almost tick for tick they follow each other, and it takes a news event and an influx of volume, dollar volume, to change that tight correlation. So what we saw over the past couple of days on this bounce was all of the big three were going in the same direction, but in terms of significant strength, it was clear that ETH had some more strength yesterday, and that was due to influx of dollar volume heading into Metropolis. So this is, in my opinion, a sell the news event. We just saw a dump right up on the cusp of the timing for that, and we'll look at that on the shorter term time frames in just a minute. But it's a very important point to realize that with the big three, when you're trading these big three, Bitcoin is the backbone and it is the leader, and it is any news events that change that correlation. It very rarely just happens without something going on behind the scenes. And with Litecoin, when that happened, when Litecoin ran up to 90 whatever dollars, it was because Charlie Lee was doing his Twitter thing and posting about Lightning. And so, again, just news breaking correlations is the main point. But once that dies down, the correlations pick back up again. It's like it never even changed. And that happened with Ethereum, where the really strong move only lasted about, maybe 10 hours or so. And then it faded away. We held the ground that we had gained, but then the correlation picked right back up. And it was very similar action between all three. So here on Bitcoin, I'm going to look a little bit broader and longer term, starting with the weekly time frame now for you swing traders out there. So for me on Bitcoin, the fact that we broke this low of 35.83 on the pullback was significant, because that's the most significant consolidation that we have seen since we bounced from 1758 to 5,000. So that is the key level, and it has broken very clearly. We did establish a new support level down at 2975, but we broke the clear higher low. So in my opinion, from here, we will set a lower high on this bounce attempt. That's what my mindset does. Whenever I see a chart go from a higher low, higher high pattern to breaking the higher low pattern, I then look for lower highs and lower lows, because it's a shift in the trend and a shift in the momentum. So that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. What would have me change that theory would be if we saw big volume show up by the bulls and head right back up towards that all-time high. So zooming in on the daily time frame for more details, we can see the dump and the bounce starting to play out from that low. At this point, we look like we have a temporary top for now. And that top, we just hit 41.30. And the low of the most recent consolidation is 34.75. So this is the range to be watching. If we consolidate here, which it looks like we will, we have to form a higher low compared to 34.75. At any point on this bounce, if we break 37.45, make that 34.75, if we break that level, that is a big red flag that we are likely to head back down to 3,000. That's a very key support level. Bulls need to continue the higher low, higher high pattern if they want to see this bullish MACD cross play out, which is closing in. Last time we saw a bullish MACD cross didn't lead to a ton of upside, just another couple of days, but in the past it has been a really nice indicator. So the Bulls would certainly like to see that follow through, and you better believe that that is an indicator that I have checked on our alert system, the daily MACD cross, just to be, of course I'm going to be here seeing it anyways because it's on the daily time frame, but just to be sure that I don't miss that little clue, we'll be looking for that as a signal. 4-hour time frame, we had multiple tops here leading to the dump, and that was at 41.30, 41.24, and 41.25. So essentially a little triple top right there. We'll look at it on the hourly time frame. But now we're looking to form a higher low on the 4-hour chart. This is the 4-hour chart. So we can see a little higher low, higher high pattern. Support was 39.48, and we broke that level. So we're now going to look to shift the momentum and pull back and have to form a higher low. This is the more zoomed in version with more details. This is that low on the daily chart I just said must hold, and the bulls have to form a higher low compared to that level. So here's the hourly time frame with that clear little multiple top. I was keeping an eye out for the potential of a cup and handle pattern. It looked close to following through, and then the dump took place. Now, there's some theories and some speculation. Was it the dump with Ethereum selling the news heading into Metropolis? I don't believe so. The way that I saw it go down with everything dumping around even the altcoins, we were seeing a lot of dumping going on. So I don't believe it was Ethereum Metropolis causing that, but it is possible. It did look like a very magnified dump in terms of the volume that was coming in, to the point where I thought, I better start looking for some news, because it does look a little bit more than just normal consolidation. And you look on the 15-minute time frame for Bitcoin, and it was just an all-out dump where in an hour we gave back many hours of upside with a ton of bear volume. So even right now on the 5-minute time frame, we're trying to bounce. We have our low, high of the bounce, which was a lower high, higher low, and we have to see the higher high on this 5-minute time frame for the bulls to show that they're going to try and recover on this oversold bounce a little bit more significantly. So the bears currently have momentum in their favor, and we have to be watching for the 5-minute time frame to shift back for the bulls and the 15-minute time frame to shift back to the bulls as well. I'm looking at a short-term resistance of $4,006, the high of this oversold bounce, which we just formed. So Ethereum is going to be doing a lot of the same thing. One thing I want to note here is the beautiful setup on the Ethereum weekly chart. And I've been watching this for 3 weeks now, where I was anticipating a lower high to be set compared to the all-time high, just because the setup looked a lot like an equilibrium pattern, and it did end up forming a bearish reversal candlestick and pulling back significantly. So we have our all-time high, the low of the pullback, lower high, higher low. So the range right now that we're watching on the weekly, low of the dump, 202.25, and our most recent high, 396.88. So I do anticipate we're going to bounce and set another lower high and watch this weekly time frame continue to tighten for the next month or two. And it's going to give a beautiful, clear break. I'm not going to try and predict what direction the break's going to occur, and it depends on news and other events, but we know that the break will be very clear to act on as a trade signal sometime in the next couple months once it tightens up a little bit more. Daily time frame for more details. We have our higher low established, just like that Bitcoin must-hold level. This is the must-hold level to prevent from going to 200, 240.15. Very clear level. Top of this resistance, 303.78. And we're starting to consolidate. I am anticipating to set a lower high on the daily time frame on this bounce, whether that's happening right now or whether we can see further upside. Can't say at this point. We don't have enough details, but that weekly chart has me looking for a bounce and a lower high to be set. Look at the bull MACD cross here on the daily time frame, closer to following through on Ethereum. So keeping an eye, and again, that's that strength heading up into Metropolis, where we had a clear bull break and a higher high on this 4-hour time frame pretty significantly before we saw it on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So resistance, we hit our top of 303.78. We pulled back and bounced off of 282.95, so that's a shorter term support to be watching. Another lower high at 301, and if we break that low of 282.95, that's a shift in momentum. Just like the bull momentum shifted here, we were all over that on the 4-hour time frame. Now this would be a shift back to the bears if we break this low, because it would be a little lower high and then a lower low, and we'd look to pull back into the 260, 270 range. The hourly time frame is leveling out here. You could make the argument that it is a bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern, and it's all about that low of support of 282.95, and we'll see if that level gets tested. Looking at the dump, a little bit more detail, 15-minute time frame, not as significant. We do still have some supports here that we held on to. The 5-minute time frame, it was pretty brutal in the short term, but we do still have some of those supports to be watching. We hit our low, high of the bounce, 293.45, and now the bulls are trying to form a higher low at 287.97. So tightening 5-minute pattern, reaching an equilibrium after the dump, low of the dump, high of the bounce, higher low, and watching that range to continue to tighten. Litecoin on the weekly time frame. So the bulls buying a dip. We did take out a lot of support. A lot of support in the low $40 range was lost, but not for long. Bulls did buy that dip. So we do have a support here to be watching. I'd expect an equilibrium pattern to start forming here. The range and the volume is significant enough that I would look for our all-time high, low of the pullback, and a bounce and a lower high to form. The Ethereum weekly equilibrium pattern is much more developed, but this is what I'm going to look for on LTC as well. Daily time frame on Litecoin. High of the bounce happened at a different place because it was a bounce leader to start the bounce. That was up at 62.41. Higher low right now, 47.87 is key support, and that's the range that we're currently watching. A break of 47.87 is a big red flag. We'd be looking back down into the $30 range if that level is lost. 4-hour time frame shows an even tighter range. I'm looking at the most recent resistance of $58 and support. We're taking out a couple supports here. I'm looking at 53.80 and 51.32 before the must-hold level of 47.87. Checking out the dump on the 15-minute time frame, significant dump. 15-minute RSI did not get oversold, and right now I'm not liking any oversold bounces on these big three just because I would rather that 15-minute RSI be oversold. I'd be more comfortable, so I'm going to go to bed with alerts set on all of these big three on this 15-minute oversold time frame for that indicator, which is what I want to wake me up. Otherwise, I don't like a bullish entry down here. So I will be waiting patiently in my sleep for that alert. So we have a big bullish reversal candlestick on the 15-minute time frame. Equilibrium on the 5-minute time frame not developing. It's weaker here. We saw a clear lower high and lower low. So right now, Litecoin is showing a bit more weakness. And let's just compare again. 5-minute time frame, we had a higher low just now. Litecoin had a lower low. So Bitcoin and Ethereum did not. That is a notable difference on some pretty high bear volume. Look at all the bear volume that we've seen compared to bull volume since this pullback started. It's not really comparable. So this tells me that Litecoin is the weakest on this pullback right now. Definitely worth making note of if you are trying to play a bounce. You can look at that two ways. It's more pulled back, more oversold, so we're going to see a more significant bounce, or it's weaker, the bulls are not as interested, and better to have play somewhere else. And we'll have to keep an eye on bull volume, because if bull volume doesn't show up, bulls aren't going anywhere. Look at this candlestick. It looks like, oh, a big green candlestick. Look at the volume behind it. So uncomparable to the bear volume right before it. So definitely want to be taking in all the details here. Certainly candlestick shape alone is not enough. So that's what we've got for the big three heading into tomorrow. Looks like we're about to start some consolidation due to the high volume at this recent top, due to the potential sell the news event of Metropolis, and due to just a 2-day bull move over the past 2 days with some really nice gains for the bulls, and now hitting the consolidation period. Hourly time frame starting to pull back, and I would watch the 4-hour time frame for that higher low on all of the big three, looking for a higher low to form on the 4-hour time frame, ideally sometime overnight tonight. So I appreciate you watching. We'll check back in as always. Check out that crypto alerts. Check out the crypto course.